All right, guys, what up? This your boy T Dub with Blazing the Sports, man. Guys, I know this is different. Your boy T Dub talking about the Tiger King. So, for anybody that catch this on replay, maybe you get a chance to catch this live, guys. Let's talk about this. Have you seen it? If you have, please do me a favor, comment below and let me know what are your thoughts about this, man. Let me give you guys a little my thoughts on it, right? So, when I first heard about the Tiger King, right? The Tiger King, right? Uh, I was more so thinking, what? Huh? What is everybody going crazy about something called Tiger King? Tiger King. um, and I started watching the first episode, and halfway through the first episode, I'm being honest, I'm like, I still don't see why everybody's so revved up about the Tiger King, right? I'm like, what is it? And then it started getting down to it, and that's what we're here for. Then it started getting down to it. And this wasn't just a show, it was a show based on real people using real people. And that's the thing. When we get these reality TV shows, you know, a lot of time it's scripted, right? It's made up, right? This was actually real. The real people. No hired actors. Even though we had some people who wanted to be actors. Joe! Uh, this was real people, right? And to me, I guess the stars would be Joe, right? Joe Exotic, uh, Carol, Jeff. Those might be the three major players. If I'm wrong, please let me know what do you guys think about this. But as we can see right here, guys, we see Joe, right? That's a definitely I'm busted type of face. We see Carol up top with her husband, and guys, the reason they got so, or at least I got so into this show, is because the things that was uncovered. See, even though tigers was the common denominator in this whole thing amongst these people, the story, the cover up. Like, so when we look at Carol, right? Carol, God, dog it. Like, everything in this show is invisibly pointing fingers at Carol like, you killed your husband. Yes, you did. You're lying. And every time they show her face with that little smirk and she's riding her bicycle, hope this is no spoiler for you guys. I'm not gonna go real long about this, but I want to talk about this show and get you guys' thoughts on this, right? So, Carol, uh, my opinion, based off the show, I believe she did it. I believe she did it, and she rewrote the will, added in disappearance, took 90% of the pot, gave 10% of the family, and told that family, I have it, you don't. Keep talking with me, I'm gonna squash you. I say one thing about Carol though. To me, as the show betrays her, she's one of these like persons that obviously everybody in the show kind of have a little something wrong, right? Or different. You know, I don't want to say always wrong, but different. Some have something wrong. Some have a lot wrong. But sometimes it could be different. Let me check. Hold on, guys. Let me check something. Okay. So when you look at Carol and the whole history, right? I watched this between last night and today. I finished it all. So I'm trying to get all these thoughts in my head out now. So you have Carol, who said that she was arguing with her husband, not the millionaire, the one before him. And to get away from him, she had to throw a potato from the kitchen to the living room. Wait a minute. To get away from him, you had to throw a potato from the kitchen to the living room, which means he wasn't even in the same room with you, which means you was just being an ass. You were just throwing a potato at somebody just to throw a potato at somebody, but you needed an excuse to tell the audience. So, in order to get away, you throw a potato from the kitchen to the living room, I believe. You go on a nice little stroll. Here comes Mr. Millionaire, makes 3 laps around. You grab a gun, point at him, and it looked like you slept with him that night, but yet you stayed married to your husband for the next 3 or 4 years. Listen, listen. This show. This show has some real life things. It's real life. There's real life people out there that does this shit. So she marries the millionaire, right? And the way the show portrayed her is just that she wanted it all, and he was tired. He sent letters. He gave letters to people to say, if something happens to me, give this to the authority. 2 months later, he disappeared. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm dumb. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Carol killed her husband, or do you not? And then she marries this guy, and the new husband, right? You know the one, the Slim Beam in the show or in real life. To me, he comes off somebody that he's not self-driven, he's Carol-driven, which means whatever she wants, he's driven to see whatever she wants to the end. She's a leader, he's a dedicated Indian. She's the chief. But now let's talk about somebody who I would hire Lola from, right? What is his name? Is it Doc? Is his name Doc? Now, I wouldn't let Lola go to Doc Tiger form. I won't let him. Listen, the one thing that the show portrays is that Doc liked young, pretty women. But I can tell you one thing about Doc. Doc did his best outside of women. To me, if something happens to Doc, if Joe don't get him first, it's going to be the women, because he loved women. And then we got the man of the honor, the guy that went to prison. We have Joe. Listen, man. Listen. I'm going to cut and I'm going to come back. Let me cut. Do I believe Joe was set up? Yes. Do I think Jeff, James, and Alan has something to do with it? Yes. But was Joe butt shit crazy? Yes. Listen, guys. Joe was doing everything to point fingers at him. The guy did YouTube videos about killing her, shooting dummies that looked like her, calling her, wishing she was dead. He even before a thought was put in the head to set him up, he was pointing fingers like, I want her dead. Even if somebody else did it that wasn't even connected to Joe, Joe would have been one of the first to investigate it. They would have investigated Joe first. Those are facts. Joe going around, marrying the 19-year-old boys that come there, shooting guns at people. Like, listen, guys. Do I think what happened was messed up? Yes. I do. Oh, it's not showing. Here we go. The expert genie's in the building. Says, free Joe. Lock her up. Out, Lisa. Hey, man, I watched all of it, but the last episode, do you think the girl killed her husband? Listen, man, I'm talking about that right now. I watched the last episode today. I started last night because of everybody was talking about this episode. Not episode, but this show. I had no idea what this show was. I had no idea. I binge watched 3 or 4 episodes yesterday, maybe 4, and I watched the last 3 today, something like that. Do I believe she killed her husband? Yes! Listen, man. At first, his assistant was the power of attorney. To me, in my opinion, Curl is one smart, dedicated, twisted cookie. When she did what she needed to get what she wanted, and she stated in the show, if I didn't do the things that I did, I wouldn't be here. She wouldn't have what she have now. She even did something about how you can get rich quick and easy, and by doing things on purpose or accidentally. How did she know about getting rich when the only way she got rich was marrying a rich man and then he disappeared? Jesus, guys, come on! How do you think? This is my opinion. This is my opinion. Talk to him, T-Dub. Let me talk. Talk to him, T-Dub. I'm trying to. Let's go. I believe that Curl and her husband, I can't think of his name, had disagreements. It was documented that he definitely did not feel safe. He tried to get a restraining order. But this is what I'm going to tell you guys. Listen! Listen! A lot of men get caught up by shady women all the time. And I'm not saying every woman. I'm talking about shady women. When they want something, you know what they do to a man? They be nice. They be loving. They be the woman you want. Because why did he change his will and take the power of attorney away from his assistant? And Curl rewrote the entire will herself, giving herself 90%, giving his rest of his family and daughters 10%. And she wrote in the will or disappearance. She tried to play this man like he was dumb. Even in the show, it appeared that she was trying to make him look like he was senile. He had Alzheimer's. He couldn't remember nothing, right? Think about it. He can remember some in the past, but he can be doing something now and forget it. I just remember him telling me, have it ready early in the morning. I'm leaving early in the morning. I think Costa Rica, right? The same Costa Rica, which was stated that he had a girlfriend down in Costa Rica. You telling me that a man that wrote a letter and gave that letter to his friend and said, if something happens to me, give it to the police. A man that says she threatened my life. She has a 45 and she took my 357. A man that knew he had a prenup so tight it'll make a virgin jealous because you couldn't penetrate it. He had a prenup so tight that she wouldn't get no money and she would just probably have a house and car. And you telling me that one morning he got up to go to Costa Rica, I could have the destination wrong. He disappears. They find the van by airplanes. And the keys are in the van, right? The keys are in the van, right? So Carol tried to, in my opinion, she wanted to make it like, oh, he could have got one of them planes and forgot what he was doing and could have flown into the ocean, right? She didn't say that verbatim, but I'm trying to go off of memory here. Please. Southern Girl 08 in the building. What's cracking? Let's see. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to get right to you guys. Southern Girl 08 says, of course she did. She is a manipulator and showcases, golly, psychotic behavior. She waited 5 years and 1 day to report him dead, set all of this into motion. If someone was sick, Lyme, that you wouldn't let them leave the house that early, let alone go to Costa Rica. Think about this. If they're trying to make like he possibly took one of his planes, which they broke down that his plane couldn't possibly fly there, it would need to refill 4 to 5 times to even make it there. And obviously, you cannot refuel in the middle of an ocean. Uh, why wasn't a plane reported missing? If he took a plane, what plane did he take? What plane that you can easily check his his taxes to see what he claimed on taxes? Which one did he take? Oh, we don't know? Okay. I think her claim to fame, in my opinion, and guys, I want to know this. Who do you guys see as being the worst of the worst and the least of the worst? Let's do that. Because nobody good, right? When we talking about, and listen, I'm not done. When we talk about Caroline, oh, is it Carolyn? Carolyn? Or Carol? I'm butchering her name now. Is it Carol? Between Carol, Joe, Jeff, Doc, and who else is up there? Alan James. Who else? Who else? Am I missing somebody, guys? Am I missing somebody? But while you guys chew on that, right? So that's the whole Carol thing. Now let me get to Joe. Golly! Let me get to Joe. Salute to the queen, Southern girl in the building. Look at her. Over here talking to T-Dub, trying to get her some chocolate. All right, let's go. Let's go. So, Joe was a guy that, from watching this show, he was a guy that, and this is my opinion. Remember, guys, I do believe he was set up. But this is a guy that was digging his own grave. No matter if anybody tried to kill her or not. Let me explain. The guy did many videos shooting things, saying it was Carol. The guy told many people he wanted her dead. He wished she were dead. He should go up to her and blow her fucking brains out. But I'm going to say this. Even though all those things are bad, and that is not a good fucking human to say things like that. Guys, we all know from the hood, 9 times out of 10, the guy that's doing all the woofing is not the biggest, baddest in the yard. The one that do all the woofing is typically just a talker. The one that's the doer is a silent one. Joe wasn't silent. Joe wasn't, in my opinion, remember, I don't think he paid that guy for it to put a hit out on her. I don't believe so. But I'm only naming things that probably made people look at Joe in a different way. So Joe had 2 husbands, right? One of his husbands was there 14 years, was married to Joe, I believe in a sexually relationship, I'm not sure, for 11 years. Came out he wasn't gay. The other one was, what was his name? Travis? So Travis was a 6'6" tall guy, big hands, right? And Travis had a thing of pulling guns on people, right? And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this in the episode, I saw this episode today. If you didn't see it, maybe you have saw it. Travis was put a gun on, I can't think of his name is, and he said, you know, Rugers can't shoot without a clip in it. Put the gun to his head. Listen, they said Travis did a lot of meth. Big James says cocaine's a hell of a drug. I can only imagine what meth is. Hell, looking at the front fixtures on Joe's first husband, meth's a hell of a fucking drug. He blew his fucking brains out, guys. He blew his brains out. And this is what I'm just saying. I don't believe Joe did this. And what I'm saying is not convicting Joe of doing that crime. I'm just stating, who do you guys see as being bad people or bad image, right? Bad people or bad image. Give me your top 5. So, Two were actually at the funeral, right? The funeral of Travis with his mother sitting in the front row. Joe starts singing, does a concert. It seemed like Joe is acting even at the funeral. 2 months later, Joe meets another 19-year-old. 2 months later, I'm sorry. He's married 2 months later to another 19-year-old. Listen, I'm not saying that Joe put that hit out on Carol. I don't believe so. But what I am saying is I don't think Joe was a good person. Listen, I think Joe cared about things. I think he cared about things, but he just was a man. I don't know how to explain it, because at the end when I had a lot of sympathy when all the people he helped went against him, all of them, all the ones he gave jobs, he gave a place to stay, the ones he helped, they went against him. And when the feds was like, this was one guy said, the feds said either you with us or you with him. I want to imagine if some of their statements was such against Joe, because they have such fear of the feds that they agreed on shit. Think about it, right? The feds telling you, they're not even giving you an option. They're not even giving you an option to say, I don't know shit. I don't know shit. Everybody became canaries out of nowhere. I saw him walk up to this many tigers and shoot him right in the head. Damn. Maybe he did do it. I'm not saying it's right, but shit. This man gave you a lot over years. And now you just going off because they making you think that is either you with them or him. Like you're not with you. You're either with them or this what the feds do to you, right? They ask you, do you know anything about this? I don't know anything about that. Listen, you either with us or you with him. Do you know anything about it? Is it possible? Well, I guess it's possible. Maybe. Listen, there's no possibles. Well, maybe. No, is it a yes or no? Well, I guess yes. They don't coach you from saying you don't know to possibly to maybe to yes. And once you put that in writing, you cannot renege on what you say, or they will bring charges against you. Let's read. Joe is an egomaniac, but that's not a crime. No, it's not. I lost one. Crazy that you got to see the other guy's reaction to the kid blowing his brains out. Yes, he froze. Carol, or whatever her name is the worst. Okay, I'm going to get to that. Let's get to that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. And at the end of it, guys, when I get done trying to get my train of thought, if you guys want to call in or Skype in, you can. Skype is What's Blazing in Sports. What's Blazing, something like that. T-Dub, I don't know, look me up. You know the number. But let me finish. So, what I felt was bad, right? Joe built this thing from the ground up. 20 years invested. And from the people they shown, I'm not knocking the people, but the appearance was that everybody that he chose was misfits that could not fit directly into normal society. And he gave them a home and a purpose. And he paid them. No, it's not a lot of money. I think he paid $150 a week, but he gave them room and board and all that stuff, bought them some things. I believe Doc paid $100 per week, and Carol paid nothing. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys my top worst right now. Matter of fact, I can't, because I got to talk about Jeff. Right? So, here we go, right? Who I consider, in my opinion, the bitch of them all. Carol. She, in my opinion, everything she's going after Joe for, she was doing. Having him locked up in cages. She had him in cages. taking pictures with the tiger with the fans. She did the same thing. But she's such cunning, manipulating from what the show portrayed. Is that with her charm, she was able to get bigger people on her side to have target Joe. She made it her mission. He didn't bother her. She sought him out. She targeted where he was going to be at and cut his money. He felt his back against the wall. She won a lawsuit for $1 million. He's about to lose the form. Until the what's his name? Swiper no swiping come along, right? Oh, Jeff. See, to me, Jeff is one of them guys from what the show portrayed. Jeff is one of them guys that come to you, right? He see you down, right? See, some people when you're down and out, they help you up. Some people when you're down and out, they take advantage, guys. Listen, they take advantage of you. And even when you're down and out, as long as you have something that somebody wants, they try to get it. To me, Jeff came in, Mr. Money, showing a house that wasn't even his, showing a car that he was behind on. And from what I heard from the show, when they decided to sign it over to Jeff, I don't even think Jeff even gave Joe any money for it. So you mean to tell me that it's possible that Jeff came in, Mr. Good Guy, Mr. I'm going to help you save your form, Mr. I'm going to talk crazy to Carol and her husband like they ain't shit, because I'm here to help you save your form. I'm here to help you save your form or your zoo. But how am I here to help you save your zoo when I take your zoo? Because if you really want to help save the zoo, he could have just gave $1 million to Carol and wiped the debt away. And then, maybe he could have told Joe, hey, I want 40% of this. I want 40% of your zoo. Or, give me 40%, and the next extra $1 million to come in goes to me. But it will leave you control, and you'll pay your debt off with her. We'll be squashed. He got the zoo signed in his name. Then he does an interview saying, I couldn't hire no good help. There was no good help around. So he hired his boy Alan. That from day one, guys, listen. From day one, Alan and Joe didn't like each other. They had smoke from day one. And I ask you this. Why the hell, or who the hell in their right mind will go to a person that hates you, and you hate them, and that other person ask if they can kill you a couple times. They hate you so much, they told you that you are not their boss. Alan to Joe. Why would Joe go to Alan and talk about paying him money to kill Carol? Why? Why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. See, let's get to the setup point. In the building, the one, the only, Frank West in the building. Was cracking, homie? Say salute to TW, what's blazing family. Yes, sir. Listen, man. Let me get through this. Let's go. So right now we are reviewing, we're knee deep, over halfway through the video, talking about this show, The Tiger King. So check this out, right? Everybody that he helped, right? This James guy knew it. Jeff, right? Alan, who worked on his form. All of them, right? All of them turn their back on Joe. And then, to me, it's like they're going out their way to set Joe up, right? Remember when they were talking about the texting back and forth when Joe left the forum, right? He went MIA, but yet somebody got his burnout number. They don't call him and get anything verbalized, but they got these texts where he's texting about hiring people to kill Carol, but yet they don't got no verbal. And the tigers he took, he gave away to somewhere else. Because when they busted Joe, the reason you know Joe didn't have no tigers, because when they busted Joe and locked him up, they didn't secure any tigers. But in the message that they wrote, that he was supposed to write to pay somebody $10,000 to kill Carl, he had to sell some tigers or tiger cubs. One, tiger cubs not that easily made. Two, where are you going to get tigers? If you had tigers, then why didn't they get you when they caught you? Yeah, it's set up. So let me give you guys my top 5, right? Let's start with the least. The least person of them, I think, is Doc. I think a lot of people have Doc kind of high, but to be honest, I don't have Doc high. I think Doc is, he's a man that watch what he do, but he has a fucking, no, a fucking lot of women like he's training his own Amazons over there. See, Doc's weakness is women. That's his weakness. Young women, pretty women. I think he's the least of the evil. And then it may be, who's next? Gosh. Who's out there? Maybe James. Maybe James. Because he's evil as fuck. Because James, he got with Jeff and all them. And then when they got Joe locked up, then Jeff cut him out the picture. Listen, all right, matter of fact, I'm gonna go straight to number 1. The number 1 worst person on that show to me is Carol. See, listen, all of this is because of Carol. Carol has a dead husband that all fingers, a majority of fingers points, that she has something to do with it. And that the law enforcement didn't do their just due to find out what the hell really happened to him. Second, well, matter of fact, let me finish with her. She has a husband that went missing. That's how she got her millions. 2, she has employees that work for her for free. She don't even recognize who the employees are until they had been there about 3 or 4 or 5 years. And then she was like, oh, I remember you. I've seen you a lot now. So she had people volunteering there day in, day out, every holiday. And paying free and don't even know him. Third, it looks like she picked this fight with Joe. She went out to stop Joe for doing something that appears that she does. But she calls it different. She's the worst in my opinion. She possibly has a body on her record. Second, Jeff. I know some of you guys thought I was going to say Joe. No. Jeff, to me, is one of those guys. There's nothing worse than having a backstabbing friend. There's nothing worse than that. I'd have had a backstabbing friend. To me, Jeff is one of those guys that pretend to be your friend. Pretend to be everything for you. Have your back like a chiropractor. But he stabbed you in the back the more. Jeff got in there. Implanted his mole in there, in my opinion. Alan. Got everything in his name. In my opinion, he told Alan to lie. Like the money that was given to him to go back to South Carolina was money they put out for a hit. Because why in the hell would Joe go to an enemy that says he wants to kill him and he can't get along with him and say that I want to pay you to kill somebody? Because you know what that enemy would do? Just like he stated already, I don't work for you. That enemy would have went to the police right then and there. He wouldn't wait until they had no other options. Because Alan didn't come out with this story until the other story couldn't stick. Until they hired an FBI undercover to pretend to be a hitman to reach out to Joe on a burner phone. Never talked to him. Never got money because it wasn't Joe. It wasn't Joe. The burner phone could have damn well been Jeff or Alan saying exactly what they want them to say. But it wasn't enough, so it didn't stick. It didn't stick. Slide down the wall. It didn't stick. So you mean to tell me after all that didn't stick, Then Jeff reaches out to Alan, and now Alan all of a sudden is willing to come forward and tell this story. They didn't know anything about Alan. But yet Jeff talking about you can go down to Alan. But they didn't know anything about Alan? Come on, guys! Number 1, Carol. Number 2, Jeff. Number 3, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Because I almost want to say Joe. Almost. Even though James was a con artist, I get it. But I'm talking about the major players. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's Joe, man. Maybe it is Joe. Listen, Joe didn't do what he was. Joe, in my opinion, didn't do what he went to jail for, as in trying to kill Carol. I don't believe he did that. I believe he said it. I believe he wished it would happen. Listen, there's many of us right now wish that somebody who hurt us or did something to us, wish they were dead. Don't mean you would do it, but you wish they were dead. I'm just saying. There's people that cost you your job, rob you, rape you. You wish were dead. You were verbally say, I wish you were dead. Don't mean you do it. Who is the dude and why I keep seeing this? Okay, all right. Let me tell you, Frank. So Frank West. So, I'm typically all about boxing, but I just watched this show, man. There's only 7 episodes, and Joe is the guy with the blonde, right? Joe is the guy that he started a kind of a private zoo. It was mainly built around tigers, but he had lions and lions and alligators, and he had stuff like that. But it was mainly built around tigers. I believe it was in Oklahoma. And it's based on it's a real documentary, real people, real events that led to Joe the blonde, the guy to the far right, going to prison, sentenced to 20 or 22 years, maybe 22 years. They hit him with 19 different charges, but the biggest one was that he attempted a hire for murder, something like that. The woman they said he was going to murder was the one that's with the eyes of Carol. And the guy at the bottom with the white tiger is the man that I believe to be the fakest friend of them all, pretend like he's going to help him. So, hey, listen, we've been there before, guys. Think about it. A lot of dope dealers do it now. Instead of putting things, damn it, I just thought about it. See, I don't know if Jeff paid for it or if maybe well, I guess his mom was already being pursued. He should have tried another family member, put in their name. But let's go. So, Jeff is the guy that called himself the Tiger King, right? He's the Tiger King. He said he has the world's biggest tiger zoo, right? 200 and some tigers, right? Shaq been there. Many people been there. But Carol, the blonde you see right there, Carol had her own tiger sanctuary, and she did not like Joe. She wanted to stop Joe at all costs and said that what he was doing to tigers was harmful. So she got to hire help of bigger people to take him down, which pissed Joe clean the fuck off. And Joe made videos about killing her, talking about her, letting the world know he fucking hates her guts. And Carol had a husband that was worth millions. As far as I know, she didn't do anything to make millions, to get the millions in the beginning, outside of having her husband, who appeared didn't want to be with her anymore. He wrote a letter saying that she threatened to kill him. She has a gun and took his gun. A couple months later, he disappeared. She rewrote this man's will and put in the will in case you disappear, and got all his millions. And now she had all the power. And that's what, in my opinion, her rise to fame. And now, because of this documentary, it has been reinvestigated to look into her ex-husband murder. So she's going after him. She's basically bankrupting his ass. He's trying to fight back. He's losing the battle. She has millions. He has a little, and he spent a lot trying to fight her until he's about to lose his zoo. And then walks Mr. Smooth, the guy with the white tiger, Mr. Jeff. Jeff comes in like he's big and bad and got all the money in the world. Jeff takes Joe to his mansion, shows him his hot Ferrari. To come to find out, that was a rented mansion. And he was behind on payments for Ferrari. But Jeff convinced him, if you sign over your zoo to me, then she would have to start all the way over with the lawsuit. And there's a chance she won't do it because it costs millions to do it. So Joe, the blonde, signed over to Jeff. And once Jeff got possession, he let Joe do his thing for a while. But when Jeff was time to take, when he felt like it was time to take his shit, went back, took it from Jeff, took it from Joe, kicked Joe out, and then went to the feds against Joe. In my opinion, planted evidence against Joe to make it look like Joe hired someone to kill Carol. And the feds came in and sentenced him January of this year, 22 years. Damn. Here we go. Observing stuff in the middle says, my homeboys was watching that yesterday and I didn't know what was going on. Listen, man, when I first started watching this show, bro, like I just started watching yesterday. I'm like, what's all the hype about it, right? Listen, is it a show that you're going to be like, oh, man, this is the best show in the world? No. But does it have drama, right? Listen, here's the drama. The drama is Joe, the blonde. He's a half-cock maniac that wants to be a fucking star and an actor. And he's talk crazy. He shoot fucking guns. He's fucking buck wild. And then you have Carol, who is betrayed as a fucking, as a person that could have killed her husband. That she's fucking evil. And she wants to put out competition. She has a tiger sanctuary. A lot of people, or there's 3 or 4 big tiger sanctuary. She wants to take everyone out. And hers be the last one that have tigers in cages and people can take pictures with. But Joe was her main target. And she has a missing husband that people believe she killed. So, is the show super great? No. Is it interesting to see what happens? Yes. Happens next. Yes. Listen, man. This is real life shit. You can look it up. Is it interesting? It is, man. I'm telling you right now, when you watch it, the first 30 minutes, you can be like, what the fuck is this about? Like, I'm not going to lie. I had to force myself to keep watching it the first 30 minutes. I know what the hell it's about. I'm like, this is really a documentary about a guy that has fucking tigers? Come on. Really? And then you get to the drama. And drama is what sells. The guy is your boy Tito Plays Sports. Listen, guys, if you guys want to call in on this, I'll give you a couple minutes if you want to. 314-884-1013. Ask me questions. I make statements about the show. You can. If not, it is cool. Observing Sub says, yeah, I see memes and posts about it. Bro, it's only 7 shows. See, what makes it so popular, 1, it's only 7 shows. It's not 24, it's not 16, it's only 7 shows. Averaging about, if you don't got commercials, about 48 minutes per show. And the biggest thing is, right, this is what it looks like. Joe wants to be a star, losing everything to Carol, who's targeting him. Jeff comes in, pretends to be a friend to Joe, gets Joe's business in his name, and takes the business from Joe. Joe spent 20 years building up this business, making it popular, making it a place where people want to come to. Joe he loved popularity. He tried to run for president. He tried to run for government, like, not government, but for governor. That was Joe. Carolyn was a destroyer. And she is, to me, one of the people that when she is focused on something, She finished it through. And she married a man, to my eyes, is a submissive, passive man. That he is just as driven as Carol, but it's for Carol causes. Because I don't know what his own cause is. I don't know. Because she had everything going on there before he got there. What does he do? That's right. Anything Carol says. That's right. And then Jeff comes in, smooth friend to help you all, takes his company he been building for 20 years, makes him think that I'm going to help you save it. And he didn't help him save it. He took it. And not only when he took the company, this guy, in my opinion, he wasn't done with Joe. He wanted Joe gone. Jeff did. He went to the feds. James, who looked like he was about to be indicted, went to the feds. All these people that Joe helped. Don't get me wrong, Joe's a half-cocked idiot. Joe did some shit that makes him, listen, he did some not smart. That's the thing about Joe. That's what it is. He does some dumb things. He done a lot of stupidity, dumb things. Like when these guys on Facebook steal something and they show the jewelry they stole, when they go show, I just robbed this store, he's that type of dumb. Everybody that he cared about, everyone that Joe helped, went against him. All of them testified against him. Observing Social, I think I'll check it out. They got some interesting shows on Netflix now. Listen, bro, like I said, it's only 7. I was at home. I was bored. I'm like, you know what? Let me check it out. And I'm just being honest. The first 20 or 30 minutes, you're like, man, what is this shit, right? Because it just somebody getting filmed. But there's no actors. Everybody is real. Everything you see is real. There's no acting. Everything you see is clips of real events. The real people that you can Google today. Real charges. Real convictions. This is it. In my opinion, Joe was not the nicest man, but I believe he was set up. He was set up, in my opinion, by Jeff and Alan and James to make it look like they had evidence to support him putting a hit out on Carol. And Alan, the man who was supposed to put the hit out on Carol, who supposedly took money to put a hit out on Carol, walks away scot-free. This is your boy T. Basement Sports. Here is Tiger Talk.